Welcome to Keep Painting Those Miniatures. Today I'm painting the last model in the crew box, the M&SU, Joss. I was really underwhelmed by this guy when I was looking at the box. I didn't want him brown, so I had a Google and spotted someone had done him in a green colour. I thought I could go even further. For his base, I didn't have a really good idea of what I wanted. I ended up just going with a straw to add a pipe to the base. Once the wall filler was dry, I primed the base with Vallejo Primer Black. I then used the colour scheme I've used with other models in this set. I went with successive dry brushes of Reaper Ashen Brown, then Reaper Golden Brown on the dirt. On the pipe, I painted it with Army Painter Gunmetal, then inked it with Army Painter Ink Soft Tone. For Joss, I started by priming him Vallejo Primer Black. I followed up with a dry brush of Army Painter Gunmetal on the metal sections of his shoulder and arm as well as his axe. I then started on multiple thin coats of Reaper Caucasian flesh on his skin. Next was his trousers, a major departure from the box art. Vallejo Livery Green. This needed a lot of coats, it was very thin on the black. His gloves and boots were next. I wanted something to tie him to the other models, so I went with Reaper Ashen Brown. This was used on Ramos' trousers and all the bases, so I felt it fitted together. I had to do quite a few coats of that green on his clothing to get it really strong. I wanted another bright colour on the model, one that again ties him to the other models. Vallejo Electric Blue was used on the Arachnids and Howard. I painted his hair and the wire running from his back to the axe. After some more additional cleanup on the arm and the skin, I felt the model was getting very settled and I was not unhappy with it. Somewhere around here I painted the goggles with Reaper Golden Brown, including the strap around the head. I also picked out his belt with Army Painter Gunmetal at this stage, as I didn't think the brown would fit with the fluoro green. I'm now inking the gloves and boots with Army Painter Ink Dark Tone. This was to bring out the details. The brown was very flat and hid a lot of detail. I also used the dark tone on the metal sections of the model, the belt, the arm and the battery on his back to accent them as well. I'm now adding Army Painter Gunmetal to the front of his goggles. Wanting the yellow to end up more green, I ended up inking him with Citadel Glaze Way Watcher Green. I inked his hair, his axe, and the wire running to it with Army Painter Ink Blue Tone. His skin was inked with Army Painter Ink Soft Tone. The item which I couldn't identify under his foot was painted with Vallejo Somber Grey and then dry brushed with Reaper Concrete Grey. I really struggled to get this guy on his base nicely. His feet just wanted to float. I ended up planting one in the base, then building up under the other with filler. I did try some straws and tan bark, but ended up just using filler. Again, I had to do a little bit of cleanup on the base. Adding filler to it really sort of knocked it around. I enjoy that this guy's a little bright for a normal model, but I think the brightness is not just plain old crazy. He has elements tying him to the other models in the set, and he definitely looks, electrified and crazy. Keep painting those miniatures, people.